The squirrels actually monitor our back parking lot. They're like, wait a minute, are you a member? And if you're not a member, they cut your brake line. It's a video.
Personally, I started in the booklet, but I caught back up on page like 45 now, over the past 3 days. So that was fun. I can't wait for you to explain to me what's going on in the book.
We want to limit the amount of control that we put on people with extrinsic rewards and people put on themselves with intrinsic rewards. So that's why things like autonomy are so important, right? So it's called self-determination theory, because you can be self-determined and you make choice to go towards where you want to go. So that's why it's based on autonomy, competence, and relatedness. So autonomy means that we're self-directed, right? Because a big part of our nature, so this is really cool, like your hypothalamus, like you can actually be so they did this in cats. So like they took away most of the brain, and all that was left was their hypothalamus, and they were actually more exploratory with just their hypothalamus than they were with the rest of their brain. So like it's innate for mammals to be exploratory, right? So, and then put on top of that, we have this really cool dopamine system that like every time we explore and we figure things out and we get a hit, right? We get hit. And it's so, if we can do that in a self-directed form, it's motivation, right? So,
Make it fun to learn.
What's that?
Make it fun to learn.
It's fun.
Yeah.
So if it's like the examples in there with the puzzles, did you see anything about the puzzles? So like when they put a control on it, it wasn't as self-directed. So if you can think about it this way, the dopamine is coming from a different source. So if the dopamine is just coming from doing the activity, it's much easier to make that intrinsically motivating. People just want to do it. But as soon as you make the dopamine hit come from something else, they want to keep getting that dopamine hit. So they're only going to do it if that's where it's coming from. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's how we take limit control and add choice to things. And then from the competence standpoint, we just want to feel like we have an understanding of how we can navigate our environment. So if we don't feel sufficient or proficient, we don't act the same way. A good example, when one of the first times Megan was here, she was like, I don't feel competent here, right? So what did she kind of do? She hung in the back, she didn't say much, and now she's starting to feel competent in this environment. She's much more interactive. She feels okay to help people and coach, and she can actually tap into her ability to use her intrinsic motivation and help people, right? And then that's all tied together with the fact that we all need to be able to relate to each other. So that's a different neurotransmitter. That's serotonin, right? So dopamine is goal-directed behavior. Serotonin and oxytocin are like relatedness hormones, right? So we have to feel connected to other people in the same room. So that's why society works. So, but for our purpose, we want to look at how are we currently offering choice and fostering client autonomy? Is there anything else that we could be doing or should be